This video is a follow-up to another video I posted where I will answer my own question I posed at the end of that video. If you could take one of your favorite game titles and make a sequel completely different from its predecessors, what title would you pick and how would you change the sequel? I'm sure it will come as no surprise that I'm going to pick Monster Hunter again. That's right, I made 2 videos about this previously. But in those videos, I suggested more mechanical and cultural changes I was interested in rather than a complete overhaul. So again, using the same example I always like to use, Metroid, and the stark differences that are apparent between some of its sequels. How Nintendo bravely took their titles in a different direction several times. That's what I'm going to try with Monster Hunter this time. So, family, friends, gamers, and cat lovers, let's answer the question of how I'd change Monster Hunter again. So right out the gate, let's just get it out there. What I'd like to see Capcom try to do is make a 2D Metroidvania Monster Hunter. In case you aren't familiar, briefly, a Metroidvania, straight out of Wikipedia, is a subgenre of action-adventure video games. The term is a portmanteau. That's a cool new word I just learned. Of names of the video game series, Metroid and Castlevania, with games in the genre borrowing from both series. Typically based on a 2-dimensional side-scrolling platform gameplay, and a whole lot more that I'm just not going to read right now. Anyway, that's my crazy idea. My bold thought to change Monster Hunter from a third-person game to a 2D Metroidvania. But to my surprise, I wasn't that bold. I wasn't the first person that thought of this. When I googled 2D Monster Hunter, I scrolled through the images and found an artist, GEORG NIMKE. God, I hope I didn't butcher that last name. If it was pronounced in Japanese, it would be NIMKE. Anyway, GEORG had already created a 2D world of Monster Hunter. This looks cool, right? But naturally, I'd like to see something graphically closer to how Metroid Dread is. But this visually gives us a clearer picture of what I'd like to see. Excellent work, GEORG. I'll post a link to their website in the description. Now, overall, just like how Metroid Prime played like a 2D side-scrolling Metroid, but in first-person point of view, a 2D Monster Hunter would still retain most of the gameplay elements that made the third-person game successful, but just it would be in 2D. We'd still have to hunt monsters and carve their carcasses for parts to craft weapons and armor, and also explore a large world, but in 2 dimensions. Maybe there would be some changes to the movesets, but I think it would be a fun Monster Hunter I'd like to play. Does that sound like something you'd want to play? Or how would you change Monster Hunter? Or as I originally asked, what game title would you take and how would you dramatically change a sequel? I'd love to hear what some of you come up with, whether it be in the comment section or hey, make a video, I'll come and watch it. And until next time, thanks for watching and thanks for subscribing.